Okay, contrary to what I said in a previous video, this video is not going to cover the ships table. It's going to cover a very important topic nonetheless, and that is how to enter new lines of data in your table. Now let's see what the heck I'm talking about. Let's go into our mod and look at the weapons table that we've been working on. Now, let's say I want to look at the rockeye, and I want to make the rockeye a swarm missile. Now, if you look at the Hornet, which is a swarm missile, there is a line in here called swarm right here. And this line basically says, yes, in the game, when you press the spacebar, fire 4 missiles when you're firing the Hornet. That's basically what this line says. So I want to do that to the rockeye. But you'll notice that the rockeye, and you might have to look for a while because you won't know where to look, but take my word for it, swarm is not in here. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add that line to this table. Now you're probably asking, well, why the heck is that even a problem? Just copy paste the line into the table. No. That there's there's a trick to this, and it's actually a trick that you'll probably run into even after listening to this video. It's a common pitfall, but basically every line in this table has an order to it. Damage is behind fire weight, is behind velocity. You get the idea. There has to be an order to it. And then, so you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how the heck do I know the order? Well, that's when you go to the Bible. And the Bible is the weapons table page on the wiki. If you Google weapons.tbl, the first thing you'll get is this page. Now, what this page is every single entry that you could possibly enter for a weapon. And you can see there's actually quite a lot here. In order. That's the key. So this is how you determine the order of the entries. Alright, so we wanted to add swarm to our rockeye. So we find it in this, you could use Control F, but it's right here. And so we click it, and the reason why we click it to see more about it is every line has a specific data set that it wants. This particular line takes an integer, a single integer. Sometimes it takes multiple numbers, sometimes it takes a string. This one takes an integer. So, alright. And then we also look at the position of this entry relative to the other entries. So swarm is behind homing, and swarm is in front of free flight time. Free flight time may or may not exist inside your table. That's okay, right? There could be as many or as little of these. Actually, I don't know if that's true, but there could be some that simply aren't in the table, and that's okay. But the ones that are in there have to follow this order, if that makes sense. So swarm is directly behind homing. So I can put swarm directly behind homing in this table. Now notice that there's these plus guys. So there's this line that says homing, and then there's these plus guys, type, turn type, view cone. These lines come with homing. So you don't put swarm here. You actually put swarm here. And let's say that we want it to fire. Oh heck, let's have it fire 4 missiles. Okay, so so these plus guys, I want to talk about them for a little bit. They are optional. If you don't enter them, there will be some sort of a default setting that FSO will choose. So add them or don't add them. That's completely up to you. Swarm actually has one of these optional guys too. So let's add that. It's called swarm weight. So you could copy the line out of here because it has to be exactly right. If you miss the plus at the beginning, if you miss the colon at the end, it will throw an error. So you have to get this precise. So you can press Control C actually if you're lazy like me, and press Control V, and it's right there. So swarm weight, what does it want? Swarm weight wants a float, a single floating point variable, so some kind of a decimal, and it says it can't be greater than 0.5, and that's the default if you don't set it manually. So let's make it 0.25. Cool. All right. So we've got 4 and 0.25. So let's test. Let's see if we're actually doing this right, and let's see how our Rockeye is affected. So in order to do that, we go to our main Freespace folder. We go to the launcher. Make sure we have our mods selected. And get right into it. So I know Surrender Belisarius has Rockeyes, so I'm going into this mission. It's alright, check to make sure I got Rockeyes. I do. And okay, so I'm in double fire mode, so I'm gonna just do single fire mode. And we do fire 4 missiles as intended. Great. So we've successfully modded the Rockeye, and now it's a swarm missile. One more thing I want to talk about, and that'll wrap up this video. These double colon things here, and it's followed by just regular text. These double colons say, hey, you know what? Everything to the right of me can be whatever the heck you want it to be. I don't really, the code is not going to read that. And the reason why that's good is because they're comments. I could just type random stuff in there, and I could use it to communicate to whoever is reading these tables. So like you see flags, or sorry, like rearm rate, and then it's followed by a comment here, number of missiles per second that are rearmed. Okay, that's what the rearm rate is. So reading these comments is pretty helpful, and you'll find later that typing comments yourself and reading them back is also a helpful way to organize your tables. So just keep that in mind. Like, let's say I want to remember what the lifetime of this missile was. I could comment it out and then put whatever lifetime I want. So let's say, you know, I test and then it turns out I don't like that lifetime, then I can remove the comments. So something to keep in mind. And I'll see you in the next video. We're going to talk about TBMs and importing mod assets.